Hello YouTube. Today is February 11, 2019, and I want to bring you news that just came out from Russia. Very interesting news about space exploration and what may be out there. So let me get to this, and please excuse me if I sometimes translate simultaneously from Russian. I just want to make sure that you get the latest news. So what happened is that an ultraviolet telescope installed on the Russian satellite Lomonosov has registered light explosions in the planet's atmosphere, whose physical nature has not been explained so far. And that's according to the director of the Skobeltsyn Institute of Nuclear Physics in Moscow. It's at the Russian State University. With the help of the telescope, Russian scientists have obtained even more important results than they expected. It looks like they have encountered new physical phenomena. They do not yet know the physical nature of the phenomena. For example, during the satellite Lomonosov's flight at an altitude of several dozen kilometers, scientists have registered several times a very powerful explosion of light. But everything was clear underneath it. No storms, no clouds. And this is according to Mikhail Panasyuk from the university. He is the director, and I'll talk to him more. Now, Russian astronomic satellite Mikhail Lomonosov of the Moscow State University was launched to the Earth orbit on April 28, 2016. The satellite is equipped with a space telescope to measure the energy spectrum and chemical composition of high-energy cosmic rays from near-Earth orbit. Moreover, there are instrumental systems installed on board for studying cosmic gamma-ray bursts and the Earth near-magnetosphere. The main objective of the experiments on board of this satellite is to study of extreme physical phenomena in space. Among them are ultra-high energy cosmic rays and cosmic transient gamma-ray bursts. And for such ultra-high energy cosmic ray measurements on board of this satellite, there are mirror-type ultraviolet telescopes, which was installed to register showers in the atmosphere, showers initiated by such ultra-high energy cosmic rays. Again, the Russian scientists encountered some new physical phenomenon that cannot be explained. They don't know the nature of that phenomenon. A little bit more about the satellite. It was launched in the orbit. It was the actually first launch from the spaceport Vostochny. Now, if you look at my videos, you will find one about the Amur UFOs video and description of the Vostochny spaceport and the UFOs that frequent the area. This is just an aside, but I want you to know that there are strange things happening with that spaceport too. That's very interesting. So when the satellite was launched, it was the Russian Soyuz 2.1A rocket launcher that brought them into the orbit. It also took some other satellites and even a nanosatellite, Samsat 218. Now, hear me out. I always tell you that most important projects are done together. Forget all the conflicts and rivalries. When it comes to the more important stuff, our scientists and governments work together. So, Lomonosov, like Phobos, which you can check in my videos from years ago, well, it was an international project, and the creation of the satellite was basically done by scientists, graduate students, and students from South Korea, Spain, Canada, United States, Poland, Germany, Italy, and Spain. Of course, with the Russians. Lomonosov was designated to study the extreme cosmic phenomena in the atmosphere of Earth, near space, and universe. And also it monitored radiation situation and monitored dangerous objects in the near Earth space, outer space, together with a net of the Earth-based telescopes called MASTER. So it was designated to observe transient phenomena in the upper atmosphere of Earth, and of course studying the radiation characteristics of the planet's magnetosphere, and also for basic cosmological research. The altitude that it was launched on was 490 kilometers. The mass of the satellite is 645 kilograms, and the scientific equipment weighs, I would say, based on the information available, about 100 kilograms. The planned period for the satellite to work in the Earth orbit would be about 3 years. Now, another important Russian scientist added something else, and actually it was right after the launch, and it was provost of the University of the Moscow State University, Viktor Sadovnichiy. He said that today was not only the important day for the Moscow University, but for the whole country of Russia and science in general, because the university has launched its own, so to say, space program with satellites. They launched some in 2005 and 2009, Tatiana and Tatiana 2 satellites. But Lomonosov is a modern research orbital station, which is at the cutting edge of fundamental science. It's an international project which has involved work of the specialists from the United States, Germany, Canada, and other countries. But of course, the main contribution was from the students of the Moscow State University, and of course scientists and researchers. By the way, the hardware was manufactured by the joint company Research and Production Corporation, Space Monitoring Systems, Information and Control and Electromechanical Complexes, named after A.G. Eosifyan in Russia. Of course, Russian scientists are very proud about their scientific achievement, and they recall verses from a poem called An Evening Reflection by Mikhail Lomonosov, whom I'm going to talk about a little bit later. Открылась бездна звезд полна, which in English means before us gapes a well of stars, stars infinite, well fathomless. The words of Mikhail Lomonosov exactly apply to the launch of the Russian satellite. Mikhail Vasilyevich Lomonosov was a Russian scientist, a writer, a poet. He made very important contributions to education and science in Russia. And among his discoveries were the atmosphere of Venus and the law of conservation of mass in chemical reactions. And his spheres of science were natural science, chemistry, physics, mineralogy, history, art, philology, optical devices, and others. He had other strange incidents in his life. He wouldn't know about the satellite named after him, but I do have more about him in my other videos on the channel, in my YouTube channel. And if you have time, please check them out, especially about mysteries of Russian science. But after the satellite named after this great Russian scientist Lomonosov, after it was launched, it started transmitting scientific information and also images from the so-called shock cameras. Of course, they received images of dozens of flybys of artificial satellites of our planet and the fragments, so-called space garbage or space trash. And one of the most interesting missions, which I mentioned before, was the study of radiation situation around Earth, because phenomena which are connected with this radiation could be called extreme phenomena, because sometimes there are disturbances which take place on the sun, of course geomagnetic storms, and radiation situation changes a lot. The streams of radiation increase, and there is a very danger that's created for the space apparati and humans out in space. Something else which is not very well described, but it has happened in the summer of 2018. There were some issues with the scientific apparatuses aboard Lomonosov, but there's not a lot of information. Now, Mikhail Igorovich Panasyuk, the head of the Skobeltsyn Institute of Nuclear Physics at Lomonosov State Moscow University, well, since 1993 he is the professor of Department of Physics of the Moscow State University. His specialty is astrophysics of cosmic rays, fundamental and applied studies within the field of space physics, high energy physics, nuclear physics, interaction of radiation with matter, studies of nanostructure, information technologies development, and more. He is a very knowledgeable person. And he mentioned not that long ago that Russia has created a system of radiation control in the near-Earth space at different orbits, from lower to geostationary ones. It is a big achievement. And they have a capability to see what else is taking place around our planet. Whether we will find out exactly what they see, that's questionable. But today he did let us know about this strange phenomena that took place in space. And that's very important to remember and to follow the news, because we are not sure what was discovered. Once again, it looks like the Russian scientists have encountered a new physical phenomena. They do not know yet the physical nature of the phenomenon. And they registered several types of very powerful explosion of light. And Mikhail Panasyuk, I'll repeat, said that everything was clear underneath it. No storms and no clouds. Now let's talk about the United States. NASA's Johnson Space Center has invited Russian scientists to jointly develop a system of forecasting radiation hazards during solar flares to protect crew of NASA's Protective Lunar Orbit Space Station Gateway. That's interesting. And to finish this off, I want to veer off a little bit and tell you what else they have discovered at the Skobeltsyn Institute, together with other scientists. I want to share it with my viewers. Okay? And what they said is that the arrival of intense cold, similar to the one that raged during the Little Ice Age, which froze the world during the 17th century and in the beginning of the 18th century, is expected in the years 2030 through 2040. These conclusions were presented by Professor Zharkova from the Northumbria University during the National Astronomy meeting in Wales. And there was a whole group of international scientists, which also included Dr. Yelena Popova of the Skobeltsyn Institute of Nuclear Physics and of the Faculty of Physics of the Lomonosov Moscow State University. That's very interesting. They have real interesting discoveries, and I will keep you informed as more news will become available from Russia. We're living in a very exciting age, and we're sure to hear more about scientific breakthroughs. I'll tell you about the ones that take place in Russia, and hopefully in China and other important Eurasian countries. Thank you.